Welcome back, Crusaders. This is Crusade with me, where we'll talk about real life, the hard stuff, the healing stuff, the human stuff. I'm your host, Dave, and today we're about to talk about boundaries. Boundaries to the next level. You've heard me talk about boundaries before. We need them and how they protect us and how they define who we are and who we are not. But today we're going to go deeper. This is not just about saying no to toxic people. This is about something more fundamental. Choices, habits, energy, evolution. You see, life isn't just happening to you, it's happening through you. Your reality, your peace, your problems, your future. It's all being shaped right now by what you're doing daily. Who you're allowing in and what you're feeding your mind and spirit. So buckle up. Let's take a walk through some hard-hitting truths. These little social media quotes you scroll past every day that, if you really sat with them, could change everything. Hello, my queen. How are you?
Hello, my love. I'm good.
I know.
We had to go jam out a little
Yes,
bit
we
after
did.
that last episode.
Well, and I thought that I was just you had left the sit and sip, but after we listened to Center Field by John Fogerty, I was listening to SOS, and I thought, man, SOS is very appropriate for this one.
Oh, I had to change some laundry around.
SOS, Motley Crue did same old situation. So that's kind of what we kind of are talking about is let's not have the same old situation, right? What can we do? And we scroll on social media and I see all this stuff. And in and of itself, I think, man, this is kind of good stuff. So I want to talk about some of that stuff I see on social media that I think deserves, for lack of a better term, a deeper look. You know, because there's a lot of negative, bad stuff out there on social media, and I get it. And it's probably good not to get drawn into the bad, okay?
I know.
But on social media, that's hard, right? There's a lot of bad on social media. But there are some good. And I try to focus on that stuff. And that's kind of what this episode is about. So I've heard this, I saw this meme, and it said, once the rain is over, the umbrella becomes a burden to everyone. What do you think about that?
I thought you were going to quote the one about dance in the rain.
I got all of no. Once the rain is over, the umbrella becomes a burden to everyone. Have you ever walked around with an umbrella?
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Unless you have one of those big ones, it becomes a walking stick.
Oh, a cane. Yeah. And I've got one of those big ones, but I rarely use it as a walking stick.
Well, if you're short like me, it comes a handy dandy walking stick.
So, but yeah. What if this quote was real? What is it really saying, in my mind, is the question. It's a picture of boundaries that were once useful, maybe even life-saving, but now are burdening us or holding us down. Really, that's what that's kind of saying. That defense mechanism that you got through childhood with, if you're still carrying it around now in adulthood, and it's making relationships miserable, or that friend who helped you survive a rough time, but you're still clinging to them, but they've become the anchor, not a sail. The umbrella served its purpose. It did its job, but now it's just weight. So here's the deep truth. Not everything that once helped you belongs in your next season, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say that again. Not everything that once helped you belong in your next season. And if you don't learn to let go, you don't just stay stuck. You get resentful, heavy, bitter. You start wondering why your life won't change while you're still carrying your past like a security blanket. I can think of a multitude of things that I probably have needed to let go for years before I actually did. And it's nice to chuck the umbrella on a sunny day, right?
Do you think some people like to hold on to those kind of things because they want to be a martyr?
Absolutely. Martyrdom is a mental illness, for lack of a better term. It seriously is we have family members,
Mm-hmm.
which will remain anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet they don't even know but they play the martyrdom card well.
Mm-hmm.
And some hold that card dearly and don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know it. That's just come to a realization here recently.
Mm-hmm.
And probably not, and we'll have that conversation off.
I was going to
off
say,
air.
I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
I think I've said before, the sisters and I have it's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine.
Mm-hmm,
and I think that's born out of, the shirt is a joke, but I think
the
that
shirt and coffee mugs.
yeah. Well, that's been recently added, but I think that was born out of the fact that, that's what we say to each other when life's on fire, because we all choose to not be martyrs.
And that's awesome. It's great.
We're kind of stoic
Got to get past that.
gals,
right?
I've been through a lot.
Well, here's another one. All right. It's because the umbrella might be a person, right? But here's another one. All right. That I saw on social media. Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice.
Everything? Not everything.
Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice. See, I think that's deep. This one stings a little, doesn't it? Because it removes the excuses. It rips the steering wheel from them and hands it right back to you. You're not just a passenger. You are the driver. You choose the job. You stayed in the relationship. You skipped the gym, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you watch 6 hours of news instead of reading something that expands your brain, whatever it is. Harsh, maybe, but powerful, and absolutely. So if you're stuck, ask yourself this: what choices am I making repeatedly that led me here?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a massive life overhaul overnight. Just one better choice today than another one tomorrow. But what we see in the mirror is kind of a choice. Mm-hmm. We either accept what we see or we change what we see, but that's a choice.
That's why I think a good, healthy marriage relationship, holding each other accountable,
yes,
is a great thing. When it's done in love, not nitpicking each other, but just helping each other grow to be better people.
Correct. And I know, and this
Not
is
pointing it out in a fight, but you know what I mean?
well, don't fight, right? I mean, we
Right.
just had that Sunday, right, about common ground. First of all, if you're in a relationship, my God, you got to have some common ground somewhere. I would hope.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
No, but if you bring something to me, I'm going to work on it because
Sure.
you want the best for me. I want the best for
want-
you. I'm certainly going to work on those. No, I might get a little pouty about it, but at first.
Trying to improve those big O's.
No, but you've been working out, and
Yeah.
I've,
Right?
the other day you had
I
me
was
work
showing
out
you.
with you.
Yeah.
I took the hints.
There wasn't a hint. I was just like, we could,
I know that's a physical thing.
my
but-
huge 2-minute workout or whatever. I mean, it was just a couple of arm exercises
Right.
we did. Right.
Right. I know that's a physical thing, but that's all I'm willing to share.
I love talking about physical things with you. And I'm going to find, we had 3 of the Fab Five here.
Uh-huh.
Well, we had 3 of the Fab Five here 2 days in a row, which was freaking
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you were around the day before.
I got some nappy time with my little, I'm no longer calling her my pretty little panda because you
Right.
don't like that.
I do like it for now, but these
understand.
nicknames stick. I mean, because obviously, Sweet Pea is 11.
Right.
That's fine. That's adorable. That will be adorable when she's, 20.
And she's Sweet Pea. And there's a song, Sweet Pea, that I sent to her.
And everybody has a song.
Yes. My
So,
girls have songs.
The girls. But I don't think when Panda Bear is 16, she's going to like the word Panda Bear. So I think you have now settled on something else, and you can announce that.
She is my Earth Angel.
Yep, and she now has a song too.
She has her song, Earth Angel, Earth Angel.
Yep.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Yep.
So now the girls all have
Their nicknames and their songs.
and their songs.
Yep. Where was I going with that?
You just said 3 of the 5 were here yesterday, and they were here the day before.
Yeah. And I got a wonderful nap with my Earth Angel.
Yep. And the day before, you had a nap with her.
Well, I didn't have a nap with her
that's
yesterday.
true.
That
yeah,
was
her mother napped
yeah.
with her.
I napped with her Friday, and that was phenomenal. But they are such a breath of fresh air. And my itty bitty pretty one, it's refreshing to see her spirit and her mind
Mm-hmm.
and her.
And her change of attitude from the 24 hours prior.
Well, yeah, that was a little bit of. But
she was feisty yesterday.
She has attitude. I love that attitude.
Yeah, Mimi
I'm
had to
sorry.
take her into the bedroom yesterday and have a little talk, just me and her, because she was not responding to her parents. So I thought, well, let me take a whirl.
Give it a
at
whirl.
and she did better.
But see, and she loves mirrors.
Yeah, the whole time I'm talking to her,
She loves mirrors.
She's staring at her,
And that's where I was going
reflection.
with this.
Oh,
I
okay.
was
Go
thinking
ahead.
about that she. So you were, and we have a
Full-length mirror.
full length mirror for our sexy time. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
Stop it.
For you to check before we step out, that you want to make sure
Yeah,
from head
most
to
girls
toe.
have a full-length mirror
Okay.
to check their outfits. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, she couldn't help as you were having your little.
Tete-a-tete.
Well, you were having a
Conversation.
yes.
Not a yelling and a
No,
screaming.
no.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
right,
I'm talking to her like I'm talking right now.
right.
Explaining to her that her behavior was.
Abhorrent.
And again, she's a smart cookie. So,
Oh my God.
and in normal circumstances, I ask her, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And she would respond, "Yes." Yesterday, she says, "No, she didn't understand." I said, "Now, I know you understand what I'm saying." And I told her, I said, "We have lots of fun activities planned today." I said, "And it would be very, very sad if you had to stay inside while everybody else is outside playing on the slip and slide and doing water balloons and all of that." And she was being very dramatic, but yet had one eye on that mirror, watching her own dramatic response. And I'm trying so hard not to laugh and still continue on with my.
You know what scares the shit out of me is she's 4.
Well, for a couple more weeks, yeah.
What will her dramatic antics be when she's 14?
Oh, yeah.
Poor Andrew and Steph. I mean,
I know.
my God.
I told her, I said, do you think God's happy with the way that you're behaving? She goes, I don't know. I said, I think you do know.
That's a fair question. That's a fair response. I get it.
I said, well, I do know that Mom and Dad are not happy. And I said, Mimi's definitely not happy. I said, I think you owe Mom and Dad an apology. I said, so if you want to go play on the slip and slide, you better go apologize. Okay. She did. She went out there. She goes,
very transactional.
She said,
very transactional.
I heard her tell her mom, I'm sorry that I'm not behaving well. Okay. Then she got another lecture from her mom.
So another one I saw, and this is not terribly different than the umbrella story, or the day a blind man sees, the first thing he throws away is the stick that helped him all his life. So sometimes the very thing that gave us support becomes a limitation the second we're healed or awake. That's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? Because healing isn't just about healing or feeling better. It's about being brave enough to release what we no longer fits us or needs. That might be a job.
I was going to say, don't you see that in marriages?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We were kind of quasi talking about that.
Yes.
People who have broken issues, traumas.
Correct.
That you don't like to say that word, but they go when they get that fixed, and then adios.
Correct. It might be a belief. It might be a family system. It might be a way of talking to yourself that once felt like motivation, but now it sounds like abuse. See, growth requires courageous shielding or shedding. You got to shield yourself, and you got to shed some things sometimes. So let me ask you, what are you still holding on to just because it's familiar? What stick are you gripping when your eyes are already open? See, that's the thing that we got to think about sometimes. I'm beyond this. Why am I still doing this? And I've got a bunch of sticks I carry. And I have my eyes are open. I can see. Cigarettes are one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I knowing better about my health, my lungs, when we're doing so many other great things in our lives around health, but I'm holding on to this, I was proudly smoking yesterday because I was reading this about the colonies and the forming of Jamestown and John Rolfe and all this. And, he smuggled, how dare they? He smuggled in some tobacco seeds and he planted them and found out they grew really well. And he became extremely wealthy. But truly the success of the colony at Jamestown was absolutely because of tobacco. So I'm smoking yesterday on the 4th of July in honor of John Rolfe and tobacco. That's kind of silly.
Yep.
That I'm holding a stick there.
Mm-hmm.
I know better.
Mm-hmm.
The new tax in our state doesn't help. That everything went up $2.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm done.
I get it, but my problem is this. I know the other side of the coin is I smoke instead of eating a lot of times that I would eat, that I just have a cigarette instead.
Yeah, I've been there, done that too.
And I don't want to, I'm trying to go the opposite way with my weight, not. And I know I use that as just an excuse. So I will get better and I will work on that. That's something I have to shed.
Yeah. Well, I know that I've done it cold turkey before, but I know there's aids out there, as my wonderful nurse practitioner has told me about. So I think
I need to go check.
I will get an aid this time.
So will I.
But yeah, I mentally made a decision yesterday.
I know.
I'm done.
Yeah.
$2 a pack.
More
overnight.
than they were. Yeah.
Overnight.
Well, I think it was the beginning of July, but anyway, yeah.
Okay, so 5 days ago. I think I've made that conscious decision.
I hear you.
And I've done it before. I'll do it again. But I do know she told me about that.
Got to work out more. If I quit, I got to work out a lot more than I'm working out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's another one. This is from a guy that I never really liked. And as he's gotten older and I've gotten older, I'm starting to, I don't know if it's the pitch of his voice or what, but Mike Tyson, all right? The boxer.
Mm-hmm. The ear eater.
Ear eater. Sure. Win at all costs. That's a quote. But anyway, he said, and sometimes you got to put this in perspective, and I'm not saying he's wrong here. I said, if you're a friend to everybody, you're an enemy to yourself.
I've lived that.
Uh-huh.
I
know.
Want everybody to be my friend.
So, wow. So let's talk about overgiving, people pleasing, chronic yes saying.
You are talking about me.
I just pulled this off the internet, off of social media. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. But we're told it's noble to be liked, right? Polite, agreeable. But here's the problem. If you give everyone access to you, you eventually give no one the real you, including yourself. Boundaries are not rude. They're self-respect. There's a difference between being kind and being used. When you're everyone's emotional support, everyone's fixer, everyone's safe zone, guess who ends up drained, depressed, and wondering why nobody shows up for them? You do, right?
Well, and you know this, especially since being a caregiver to my parent now.
Yes.
I have changed because I only am living with a chronic illness. I only have so much energy
To give. Right.
So I have made changes in my life.
Absolutely.
Across the board.
And I think that's awesome. And I think that's positive.
And so I'm, and again, I've said this repeatedly, growing older has its advantages about caring what others think. And sometimes you sit back and you think the audacity of people.
Right.
Sharing their uninvited opinions.
Well, yes.
So now I just think, well, I really, I don't care as much. I still care what people think, but not as much.
Correct. As it used to monopolize you.
Yeah, it would devastate me. But now I just do what I have to do
Mm-hmm.
for this household and my children and my grandchildren. And then whatever I have left over is for the invited few.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
I,
that's
but
and
I,
that's a
I mean,
blessing too, to
and
have an
that's
invited few and not
right. And that doesn't mean that I don't love others
no.
or
Well,
care
here's
about or can extend to others, but I have to protect myself and this household right here and keep it sacred.
correct. I love that term.
And that's my priority. And beyond that, I have to be careful
Mm-hmm.
and protect. I
You know,
am protecting, safeguarding this institution right
correct.
here under
So
this roof.
something I was thinking about, we've talked about boundaries many times and how important it is to have boundaries. And I'm talking about boundaries with people, right? People need to have boundaries. And that's more often always what we're talking about when we talk about boundaries. And sometimes you have to check your boundary. You have to say,
Yeah,
okay, it's been a time.
right,
Do I need to adjust my boundary, or have these people recognize this boundary and now we can move it because they've changed?
right,
And then you do that check in, right? You
right.
see, and guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Their drama's all the same bullshit it was 20 years ago. You're like, nah, they didn't change at all. No, boundaries right where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Uh-huh.
That is healthy.
Yeah.
It's healthy to check your boundaries, that these can move. It's not one and
Yeah.
done. They
Right.
have to adjust. Now,
Right.
that doesn't mean because you put a boundary on a person that it may remain the same, because it probably has a lot more to do with them than it does with you.
Mm-hmm.
And when, you put boundaries up for a narcissist and you let time go by and then you go check on the narcissist, and the narcissist is no different than they were. They're just as narcissistic as they were before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the boundary probably needs to remain about where it is, right? There's not a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of room to move there.
Right. And I think some
Um,
people have the misconception that just because you have a boundary doesn't mean you don't want a relationship.
correct,
You're just
correct.
setting boundaries of how that relationship is going to exist.
And a narcissist doesn't want it that way.
Exactly.
They want it to be consuming you into them,
Right.
energy draining
Right.
to fulfill their energy.
Right. But that's where I think some confusion lies.
I
Not
agree.
lies like telling a lie, but lies. And yeah, I guess I won't say anything more.
No, but yeah,
But just to other people, if someone has set boundaries for you, that doesn't mean that that someone's telling you they don't want a relationship with you. It just
right.
means, okay, these are some things that have obviously
And if that person
has come
can't,
into their
but if a person
Yeah.
can't, then that's on
comprehend
them.
that. Yeah.
That's their choice.
Yes, I know. And then
their choice.
that hurts because
Well.
because for somebody who's, just trying to protect themselves from being hurt,
Correct.
you end up getting hurt in the end anyways, because you're like, okay, I wasn't trying to break a relationship. I was
Nope.
just trying to protect myself from things that have been hurt in the
Correct.
past.
But that's not what they want.
But yeah, it's either some people view it as an all or nothing. And
Correct. Well, that's short-sightedness. I mean, that's
anyways,
so. But being for everyone sounds good, doesn't it? But it often means you're afraid to disappoint anyone. And if you're not willing to disappoint others, you'll end up disappointing yourself. And that's kind of what you were saying there.
true.
We were just kind of talking about this. So your diet is not only what you eat, it's what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, the people you hang around. So this quote right here should be printed on a billboard. What you consume becomes your chemistry. It becomes your thoughts, your tone, your attitude, your mood. Watch garbage TV all day? You'll think like it. Hang out with complainers? You'll absorb that energy. Surround yourself with ambitious, self-aware, creative people, and you'll rise. So let me ask, what's your emotional and spiritual diet?
Mm-hmm.
Who are your 5 closest friends?
5? You don't have 5.
Well, small circles are good. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Check your phone? Check in with yourself. Do you doom scroll or dream build?
I wordle. I'm building that brain.
That's better than, yeah. Boundaries aren't just about keeping people out. They're about guarding your inputs. And we've discussed that before on this podcast. Guarding your inputs. You know, I read this one. I thought this was interesting. Once you decide you want better for yourself, the entire universe begins to shift in your favor. Have you ever seen that happen? Because I have. I actually have. So this is more than just a good meme. It's real energy. So when you get serious about your life, when you say enough to mediocrity, to settling, to just surviving, the world starts arranging itself differently. You start noticing new opportunities. You find new courage. You attract different people. And yes, some old people fade out. You don't have to wait for someone to believe in you. You don't need permission to level up. You just have to decide. And when you do, life starts aligning. Not instantly, but, my word, intentionally. You know, and I've always hated talking about chemistry and vibes and energy and vibes and all this stuff, right? And it dawned on me. I mean, we know that that's true and that's real. And I've hated using those terms, sending good vibes. You know, I've always hated that. Why is it that we believe, and there's a world full of people out there, they believe in Wi-Fi, right? But they don't believe in good vibes, or they don't believe in energy, people energy. It's no different. Right? Wi-Fi is frequency being sent across time and space. We do the same thing. We just have to be attuned to it. We have to be aware of it. And this is the one I love. And this is the one I've really been pondering lately to keep in my mind. People do not decide their futures. They decide their habits.
Mm-hmm.
Their habits decide their future. Boom. Right? This is the quiet truth that separates dreams from results. Want a peaceful life? Build peaceful habits. Want a healthy body? Eat, sleep, move daily. Want a sharp mind? Read.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions. Here, practice silence.
There's no better silence than when you've had 3 grandchildren and they leave.
Amen.
We love them,
Yes.
but we enjoy that initial silence
Yes.
after the chaos.
So don't just fantasize about the life you want. Audit the life you're living. In my work, I do, quote unquote, that's all I do with my work is I audit stuff. And ask, are my daily actions pushing me closer or further from my future? Don't live a fantasy. Because if you ain't doing anything in your daily life to draw you closer, it's a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fantasy.
It's not going to magically happen one day.
No, absolutely not. That's what people have to understand, that this is going to be a whole another episode, I'm certain. We've had this discussion. We've been seeing a lot of things, and we've been pondering this a lot lately. Guess what, folks? Life is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Life is hard. And
you can make it a lot harder.
Yes, you can. And if you want to fantasize about some bullshit, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to get what you're looking for in life. You never will. Because you don't want to have habits or a cadence or a frequency or you can't do anything to a schedule. If you are so undisciplined in your life that you can't even hold a routine,
right,
you're not going to get much.
Right.
Because success doesn't come from strength only.
Mm-hmm.
You know what success comes from? It comes from consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why Babe Ruth had a great batting average? He had more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
He also struck out more than anybody else.
Right.
But he had more opportunities. It's that consistency. It's that getting up and that doing it over and over and over again. In life, I was, and I'm not going to go into specificity about where I heard this, but it was, so we could relate this to just life in general. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. And you know what I'm talking about because we just had this conversation this morning. Life in general, there are people in life that are stumbling, bumbling, just barely getting by, right? Mm-hmm. And when I say so, and I'm not even talking about economics. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm just talking about people that they are stumbling and bumbling through life. There are people, and again, not talking about economics. I'm not talking about these people are like multimillionaires or billionaires or any of that nonsense. All I'm talking about is there are people who are living a meaningful, productive, successful life. So the stumblers and bumblers are like white belts in life. Mm-hmm. And these that are thriving and growing and living life are black belts. Mm-hmm. Where are you at in your life? Are you a white belt, stumbler and bumbler? No direction, no routine, no consistency. Mm-hmm. Or are you a black belt, getting a little bit better every day? Right. You know, the amazing thing about consistency is this. You can see it in nature all the time, right? You can have a rock and put a stream of water on that rock. And over time, that water will break that rock.
Right.
That's consistency. We need consistency in our lives. Everybody needs consistency in their lives. We need that routine. As I say at work often, our daily rigor. Okay? Our daily rigor.
Right.
We have to do the basics before we can get fancy and do some cool stuff. We got to do the basics. Mm-hmm. That applies to everything in our lives.
Yes. Well, it's like people who say, I want a closer relationship with God, but aren't willing to put in the work. They don't read
No,
their
right,
Bible, or they
right,
don't pray,
right,
or they don't have meaningful relationship. Don't go to church, or
right,
whatever. I mean,
right,
that's
right.
just one
Yeah, I'm
example.
not right.
But you can't expect to have something if you're not doing something.
Correct. That is exactly my point. Exactly my point. So let's give a boundary blueprint, right? Because this is the deeper dive into boundaries. We're going to land this plane, okay? With some simple framework, your boundary blueprint for the week ahead.
Try to say that 3 times fast, because you
Boundary blueprint for the week ahead. Yeah. Okay, number 1. Release the umbrella. What I'm still carrying that once helped, but now holds me back. Release the umbrella. Number 2, audit your choices. Don't judge, just notice. Then make one new choice today that aligns with the future you want. Number 3, shed the stick. What survival tactic do you need to retire? What old version of you is ready to be thanked and released? Number 4, choose real friendship. Be kind, but be clear. Stop sacrificing yourself at the altar of being liked. Number 5, clean your diet. Yes, food, but also media, people, noise. Consume things that energize your spirit. And number 6, decide. Not someday, now. Decide that you want better. Then move as if that better life is already calling you. And number 7, discipline your habits. Not perfectly, just consistently. Because your habits are building your future, brick by brick. That's it. That's the blueprint for the week. My queen, do you have any final thoughts?
I really don't, except to just encourage myself.
Encourage us, both of us.
Both of us.
Especially about the smoking thing.
Yeah, that's a big one. And to just every day be better, be kind.
And I have been thinking about this a lot lately. I think you and I talked about this a little bit, either yesterday morning or it was yesterday morning, I'm pretty sure. A gentleman and I at work, part of the staff, close to my age, I think he's a little bit younger. And he said to me, do you ever think about the number of springtimes you're going to see left on this earth? And I was so glad he said that to me, because he made me stop and think. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, you're right. I said, I said I do, and I think I do, but man, since he said that to me, I've been thinking about that a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I says, look, I'm the type of person, and I've been thinking about this ever since I said this to him. I'm louder than I want to be. Sometimes, a lot of times, I'm louder than I want to be. And I'm trying to control that and be more quiet. But that's not my attitude in life. I technically really don't want a quiet life.
Mm-hmm.
When I die, I want to be sliding on my ass and legs into that grave.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, whew! That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start building that.
Right.
Right? I already sat down and made the list, not the proverbial bucket list, but just the list.
Right.
And I want to work hard on those, and I'm focusing on those, and I want to do things. I want to create daily habits that are going to help me hit that punch list. You know, we talk about punch list all the time at work, and that's just one of my punch lists in my life. And I don't want to get to the grave with a white belt.
There you go.
I want to be a black belt master. You don't need to change your whole life today. You just need to wake up to what you're allowing, what you're repeating, and what you're becoming. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting what matters most. Your energy, your peace, your evolution. So go out this week and build wisely. And this is your life. Your reign is past. Put down the umbrella. Pick up the blueprint. Thanks for crusading with me, and we'll see you next time.